Okay, we're back. I've loaded my needle with a little bit of thread. I've threaded my needle and here we go. Wait a minute, let me just, there you go. That's a little more clear. Okay, so I've got this fun, colorful thread in here, and I've already started making my little knot at the end. Remember, I don't like to pull it really tight. I like to be able to see the knot because, believe it or not, when I'm sewing, sometimes that knot can go right through the fabric. So I'm going to show you something that I do to kind of prevent that from happening. Make sure that my beginning little sewing line stays in place, otherwise it'll come apart and then it defeats the purpose of sewing. So usually, when we're sewing, we have like a right side and a wrong side. The right side is the side that we show to the world. It's the outer part of our clothes, and then the inside is kind of like the wrong side is the ugly side that's on the inside, where we can see a lot of stitches and stuff like that. So this is going to be the wrong side, and this is going to be the right side. So I want my little knot to end up on the wrong side. That way, it's hidden from the public. So I'm just going to go ahead and pierce my fabric, okay? And then I've made my first stitch. There we go. And I try to make it nice and straight. I'm not trying to make a huge old stitch. Okay, and now what I could do is I could pull this all the way through and hopefully the knot, yeah, I'm tugging and the knot's keeping it placed. If I tug really hard, the knot might actually go through the fabric, defeating the purpose. Something I like to do though, just as a little insurance policy, is instead of pulling this all the way and letting the knot kind of stay there and hold everything in place, I actually take my needle, open this up, and this is optional, you don't have to do this. Okay, and I open up that string and I'll feed my needle through there. Okay, and now that kind of works for me sometimes. You don't have to do it, but it can be kind of good. And then what I do, go back for this first stitch, is I just do a couple more in the same spot, because this is like our anchor. This is going to keep all of the rest of our string and stitches in place because this was our first one. We don't want this one flying out because then everything can unravel. Okay, there you go. All right, so 3 good stitches and then we're good. All right, and what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna try and stitch like a straight line across this. I'm not gonna try and go all wonky, just so that it looks pretty on the other side. And what the little mice do in Cinderella is they go like that, and then they poke through the other side, and you have to see where your needle's gonna end up. When I first poked it, it was like, see down there, and that's not gonna be a nice straight line. So try to create straight stitches and be careful with your fingers on the other side that you don't poke yourself. And to be a little more precautious, I'll show you what I do. Okay, all right, I'm getting towards my pin, so I'm gonna pull that out. All right, so something that I do is I push my needle through and then I push it up again. And I go down and up, and I'll even do one more. Down and, oops, back up. Okay, that wasn't my favorite, but here you go. And then this allows me to get a few stitches done at a time. And because I'm just poking in and out and the needle is straight, it allows me to get a little bit of a straighter line than by doing it this way, where I'm poking through the fabric and then I'm trying to guess at where my needle is going to end up. See, I keep poking it a bunch of times, and then I can kind of damage the fabric that way. Okay. Now, once I've gotten to the end of something, what I like to do is, again, leave a little insurance policy by doing a few stitches in the same spot at the very end. It's reinforcing what I did. When you're sewing, you want to sew something so that it's nice and secure, but it's not so permanently sewn that if I have made a mistake and I need to go back, I can't undo it, because that's happened to me before. All right, here we go. I've left a loop now. What I'm going to do is first just take my needle and go right through the loop, okay? Then the second thing I do is I take the 2 strings, I separate them a little bit, and I pull the needle through that, and then I just pull down, and that creates a little tiny knot right at the edge, right there, okay? And I can snip that, and now I have a nice inconspicuous little knot right there that should stay pretty strong. So that's it.